Imagine a young shepherd boy, fresh from the fields, standing before a king who once loved him like a son. But now, that same king is seething with jealousy, his eyes burning with a murderous rage. This is no ordinary rivalry. This is a battle for survival, a test of faith, and a story so bizarre, so shocking, that it involves a gruesome dowry payment. Foreskins. Yes, you heard that right, foreskins. This is the story of David, the Foreskin Collector. Let's set the background story. David has just defeated Goliath, the Philistine giant, with nothing but a sling and a stone. The people are singing his praises. Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 7. But this victory song doesn't sit well with King Saul. Jealousy consumes him. He begins to see David not as a loyal servant but as a threat to his throne. And so Saul hatches a plan, a deadly plan disguised as an offer of marriage to his daughter. Saul's first attempt to ensnare David comes when he offers his eldest daughter, Merab, in marriage. But there's a catch. Saul tells David, "Only be valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles." 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 17. Saul hopes David will die in battle, but David, ever humble, declines the offer, saying he's unworthy to be the king's son-in-law. But Saul isn't done. He has another daughter, Michal, who is deeply in love with David. Saul sees this as another opportunity to eliminate his rival. He tells David, "You shall now be my son-in-law a second time." 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 21. But here's where the plot thickens. Saul doesn't just want David to marry Michal. He wants David to pay a dowry that seems impossible. Saul demands, "Bring me 100 Philistine foreskins." 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 25. Now, let's pause here. Why foreskins? This wasn't a common dowry request. In fact, it's downright bizarre. But Saul's request is calculated. He knows the Philistines are fierce warriors. He's essentially sending David on a suicide mission, hoping he'll be killed in the process. But David doesn't flinch. He accepts the challenge. Why? Because David isn't just a warrior. He's a man of faith. He knows that God is with him. So he sets out with his men, not just to collect 100 foreskins, but to bring back 200. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 27. This isn't just a show of strength. It's a statement. David is saying, "You thought this would kill me, but my God is greater than your schemes." This act wasn't just about fulfilling Saul's demand. It was a symbolic gesture. The Philistines were uncircumcised, a sign of their separation from God's covenant. By bringing their foreskins, David was demonstrating Israel's victory over their enemies and God's power over the pagan nations. It was a bold declaration of faith. But let's not gloss over the sheer audacity of this mission. Imagine David and his men infiltrating Philistine territory, engaging in hand-to-hand combat, and then, well, let's just say it wasn't a clean or easy task. This wasn't a quick skirmish. It was a bloody, gruesome endeavor. Yet, David returns victorious, presenting Saul with double what was asked. Saul is left with no choice but to give Michal to David in marriage. But this isn't a happy ending. It's the beginning of a long and treacherous road for David, one filled with trials, betrayals, and ultimately, God's faithfulness. Now let's dig deeper. Why does this story matter? What can we learn from David, the Foreskin Collector? First, it's a reminder that God's plans cannot be thwarted by human schemes. Saul thought he could eliminate David, but God used even Saul's wickedness to elevate David. As Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Second, this story shows us the importance of faith in the face of impossible odds. David didn't rely on his own strength. He trusted in God. When we face our own Philistine stream, whether it's a difficult boss, a health crisis, or a financial struggle, we can take courage from David's example. God doesn't call us to easy tasks. He calls us to trust him in the impossible. Finally, this story is a powerful reminder of God's covenant faithfulness. The foreskins weren't just a gruesome trophy. They were a symbol of God's promise to his people. Just as God delivered David from Saul's schemes, He delivers us from our enemies. He is a God who keeps his promises, even when the road is hard and the battle is fierce. So, the next time you hear the name David, don't just think of the shepherd boy who killed Goliath. Think of the man who faced impossible odds, trusted in God's promises, and emerged victorious. Think of David, the Foreskin Collector. And remember, no matter what you're facing, God is with you. He is your deliverer, your protector, and your promise keeper. And that, my friends, is a story worth sharing.